Got a few hundred FE, don't want to get priced out by day 3? In this video, I'll show you safe, simple, and early investments that keep up with rising prices, and how some can double or even triple within a week. Now, why should you invest? 2 reasons. First, FE loses buying power fast as the league settles and good gear gets much more expensive. Second, a few consumables explode in demand once more players reach the endgame, and if you're holding the right stuff, your net worth will increase while you sleep. Now, you may be asking, what sort of risk is involved in investing? And I'm here to tell you there's always risk, but to keep it low, you can stick to items that people burn in the endgame. They don't spike, at least they stay liquid. I've used this approach for the last 3 leagues, and it's always been extremely strong. Some of these items that I keep an eye out for are fossils, ultimate embers, regular embers, inspiration essence, a few memory cards, mist essence, and then a couple of the high-end compasses. A few things that I tend to avoid are anything related to the current league mechanic. If there's an item or commodity that people want to use that is being generated from the current league mechanic, I tend to not ever buy it because it almost always, in the last couple leagues at least, starts off really expensive and then gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until it bottoms out at just being worthless. Now I'm going to go over 3 rules that you should be applying to yourself as well to figure out if an item is worth investing in. More specifically, whether you should be investing in it. 1, it's an endgame sink. So people use it in the endgame. They use a bunch of it in the endgame, be that to upgrade gear or to roll their maps or whatever. Just in endgame, a lot of people use it and it's a sink. 2, it doesn't give much power day 1. So, people aren't using it early in the league cycle. 3, I can explain who burns it and when. So I can figure out who uses it and when they use it. So if I don't understand the item, like who's using this item, I'm not going to buy the item because I'm not going to be able to know when to sell. Now, for buying, when you want to buy, I think the best window is when supply is high but usage is low. The highest supplies are going to be in between day 1 and day 7. I think that's the perfect time to buy, but you can also buy well into week 2. And then you want to be then swapping into looking for something to sell in week 3, week 4, week 5, etc. Those are generally the best times to sell. Now let's match like earlier the items that I listed off, like why some of those items work. Fossils, they're used to T0 mods on your late game items. Mist essence, it's only used in the hardest mist content. Expensive compasses, they're only really worth running in high tier maps. Inspiration essence, levels your ult supports that are only really used to min-max your build. And then all of these will see rising demand as the weeks go on, as those become the only options for people to improve their build. I know I touched on this earlier, but let's go over a couple things that you shouldn't be buying early. New mechanic drops with unclear long-term demand. Flashy uniques streamers are testing or using in their day 1 builds. Overpriced compasses during the first surge. Some compasses will get bought up early and listed at a higher price. Just be careful. And then if you can't name the burn rate or the audience, just wait. If you don't know who's using it, it's really just not worth investing in an item that you don't understand. Now, as far as price tracking goes, I keep it simple. I keep maybe 2 or 3 items that I'm going for. I note a buy range and a sell idea for each of those items. And then slowly, when listings dip into the range of where I'm willing to buy, I'll buy them up. And if prices jump above that cap of what I'm willing to buy, I just wait. And, new items will come in and there will be another window to buy in. Now that you have your item, you need to know when to sell. As far as selling goes, obviously, if it hits your idea, like basically when you were hoping or the price that you were hoping for it to hit, I would sell then. But other than that, if you see a guide on how to farm that item, I would sell immediately as the item's going to be quickly devalued. Or on the other side, if people are releasing a guide and they're using the item that you're using or that you've invested in, I would hold on a little bit and sell at the peak. Other than that, as more players reach the content that that burns your items, to say, people are buying, ultimate embers now because they have their eye level 100 gear, that's a good time to sell. Uh, I will say, don't list it all in one big batch. Nobody's gonna sit down and buy 200 mist essence that you've been saving up. Try to sell them in batches of like 10, 5, or even 1 if you have to. All right, I think that's it for this. Let's do a quick recap. Why are we investing? We're investing to keep pace with inflation. We stick to consumables that the endgame players use or burn, and then buy when supply is heavy, sell when the usage catches up. Simple as that. If you're struggling to make FE and you have no pets and you're in early time mark 7 or time mark 8, I have this guide here. This will print some early currency, and it's honestly a really great farm, especially to fund those early investments. If this guide helped, please drop a sub or drop a comment with what you're buying this league. I'm pushing for monetization by the end of this year, and every sub helps. I'm 400 away at this point. And yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.